advocacy. Through a simple example, they need to fight for some kind of a youth club in their own city, so this youth club loses the place for work, and now how they will convince the local authorities actually to provide them with some space. They go through different types of actions that can be done and so on. So far, here are some results, 9 seasons of the project, so it's around 160,000 of students who participated in those workshops, and when looking at the high schools, we have reached about 80% of them through the project. This is also a project that won one award. This one's from the Council of Europe, Young Active Citizens Award. And now, as much as we are happy with the results of our project, we would very much prefer that finally we would have in the official curricula more comprehensive civic education, and this is something that we are advocating about. And you see that, of course, the new challenge is now the European citizenship, although we have still much to do on Croatian citizenship, but with this new developments, Croatia accessing to the EU, this is also another challenge for us. This is one project, Citizens Hour, that I also would like to talk a little bit about, and this is a different approach and actually a project that we have closed and we are not doing anymore. This project was running from 2000 to 2007. We were organizing meetings between citizens and their elected representatives, but also some professionals and experts that could give them answers to certain questions. The idea was pretty much, that we would influence the local government in particular to have more such meetings with citizens where they would discuss some of the local projects, pros and cons, and then reach some a mutual decision on whether to go with the project or not. These were organized as public meetings or radio talk shows. So pretty much we wanted, to see those scenes that you can see in those TV series of mother and daughter Gilmore. So when they all gather around the city council and citizens are talking about what's going to be done or not. And I can say that the project was successful. We have organized more than 1,000 of such citizens' hours. As you can see, many big numbers of citizens and guests, so actually elected representatives who were present there. And not only that it opened a space for discussion in many of those places, but I think that another additional value was that in some of the places it actually improved what a colleague was talking about as well, just this democratic dialogue, because in some of the towns and municipalities when we organized this for the first time, it was a real chaos, and it was hard to hold the discipline within the whole and so on, but later on it became better. And as I said, we have stopped with this project because we found it that in most cases it's not needed so much. And as I have put it here, developing a brand, this is really so because many of the politicians have accepted this way of communication with citizens, and they are now organizing similar kind of meetings with their citizens, and they actually in many cases call them Citizens Hour, so it just became like a name that everybody is using for this kind of an event, which is, I think, very good. And the whole idea was really behind all of this to show the benefits of this mutual communication between citizens and elected representatives that's happening in between elections, so that we can actually all work together and thus improve the life conditions in our own communities, because many times the topics of these meetings were, everyday problems in the community that were solved, whether it be the water supply, roads, building a schoolyard, or a place for kids to play, or something like that. And the last thing that I would, because these are of course not all of the things that we are doing, but these are just some examples of different, I would say, methods and approaches to the issue of encouraging active citizenship. And the last thing would be the initiatives that we are doing, which are aimed at actually ensuring in Croatia the more enabling environment for civil society organizations to develop, to work, and actually to have a possibility to be really active, especially in the policy making. So we permanently carry out different advocacy initiatives that we sometimes do alone, sometimes in partnership with other civil society organizations. You can see here written advocacy network. This is something that we have started in the beginning of this year. This is a network that communicates over email. There is a mailing list, and what we are doing is that we are sending information on the agendas of both the government and the parliament, sending some of the documents that are being discussed, pointing to some of the drafts that are in the procedure, and so on. And then through this mailing list, civil society organizations are giving their inputs. They form coalitions on various issues. If there is a discussion on certain law proposal, then if it would be a matter concerning, for instance, women's rights, then those civil society organizations interested in that would form a coalition and try to make some comments jointly on this proposal. And sometimes the coalition would be much wider if those law proposals would not only touch women's rights, but it would also touch some of the other values that we as civil society organizations could support together. So there were different initiatives done over the years. These are some of those that are still quite, I would say, currently on the agenda. And I would now just address the last one: improvement of financial provisions for civil society civil society organizations, and which is of course very much important for their development. Somebody already mentioned this aspect, but I don't think it was too much stressed today. That of course civil society organizations can do a lot, but again, what is often forgotten is that if you really want to do a good job, then you have to become a professional in what you do. And to be a professional, unless you are born as Rockefeller's son, is quite difficult if you don't have some kind of income. And this means that civil society organizations need to actually employ a certain number of people. And as we know, usually civil society organizations are funded based on projects, which means that if you are not successful in writing project proposals, receiving grants for your project proposals, then you will often find yourselves without any funding. And which is more important, I would add that even if you are very much successful in this way, if you're an advocacy organization, you will again have problems, because there are only few donors. I don't know if I can name 5 of them that will give money for advocacy initiatives, because I cannot really write a project proposal, what am I going to advocate during the next year, because I have no idea what the government and the parliament will have on the agenda. I can talk in general terms, but I cannot give you concrete things that I plan to do. So this is something that cannot be quite detailedly planned for the next year or so, and something that often requires ad hoc reactions because something happens quite unexpectedly.